I'm here. Good evening. Welcome to DeWitt 3D Canada here on this wonderful Easter Sunday. Happy Easter, everybody. I am sorry I'm late, but had dinner tonight. Yeah, and I didn't want to rush out and be rude, so I just took my time. Anyways, we are here. We are on. We are here. We have a few people here already. 19 people. Oh, my goodness. And with me being late. So who was first? Let's just see. David Wilson. I got your email, David. Yes, I saw that. That is perfect. I think I am over-modulating a little bit. Let me move that down just that little bit there. There, that's going to make a big difference. Up to printables. I will have a look at that. And don't apologize that you caused me problems with last-minute changes. Hey, listen, I appreciate all the help you're giving me with these last-minute changes. That is awesome. So my build is stalled a little bit on certain parts of it. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. We have Stephen Machado here. NH3D Canada is here. Non-Fam is here. Snapshot FPV. DeWitt 3D Canada. Oh, that was me. Richard, the first layer, is here. Hello, my friend. 3D for Joe. I'm going to miss somebody, but that's okay. Everybody's got to be missed once in a while. And I think other than that, we're going back and forth. James L. I see James L. We have The Apprentice and Jack Black. There are no corners. The room is round. Aha. How do you confuse a person? Put them in a round room and tell them to go sit in the corner. Jeff Thorson. Yes, I was running late. My apologies. The Poor Boy channel. Are you late? No. Yeah, you're really late, Poor Boy channel. Man, I'm just so, you should be ashamed being so late. Yeah. What big eyes you have, Grandma. I don't know who you're talking about. Yeah, there we go. Let's see who else we have. Did I miss anybody? If I did, it's not personal. I just means I'm skipping over this very fast. DBR it is here. I don't think I missed anybody. Maker Viking, hello. Thomas is here. Mika Steve is here. Good day. And I'm getting there. Lost Sync is here, and Snapshot, I said hello. David, we know, is here, and Colio 5 is here. Hello. And I'm getting to the bottom of the list. You guys are typing faster than I can scroll. Shot L3D, I think I already said. Bag of Chips is here. Hello. And the GM Killer is 1967 is here. You're always late. I know. How embarrassing, right? You're always late. That's okay. I was late too. So, where we're at, a couple things. Because of the modifications we're doing to the RatRig V-Core 3.1/3.2 upgrade, I am waiting on some parts from China. It's either China or Amazon USA I'm waiting on them from. I don't remember, but I ordered parts from both places. I did get these in today. I got this kit in today, which is the, oh, wrong camera, which is the standoff kit. So we have various different, these are cheap plastic things. I hate it because half these inserts were out of place. But we got these standoff kits, which are going to allow for that one spacer doomer thingy that holds the motor, and then it's spacer on the top doomer thingy here. So we got our standoff kits in here. 3.2 is a modification. Now, I don't know if that's your modification, Dave, or if that's another modification, but basically what it means is that we are using no plastic in the corners where the belts go through, where the motor mounts on the AB motor mounts. There's no plastic back here, and there's no plastic on the front where the idlers are going. So I kind of did what you did, David, until my hardware comes in. I used my flathead M16 12s to hold this in place in the meantime until mine came in, and then I can always replace them. Now, the question I have for you, David, I'm going to get this other camera over here. And I don't know if this makes a huge difference or if I'm being paranoid, but I'm going to just get this camera. I'm going to shine it on what I'm going to ask you about. I assume you're still here. So let me switch over to this camera. Let me focus on that one corner where I did the bearing stack. There we are. Oh, and let me get some light on here too. That would help. Yeah, that's a lot better. Now, the question I have, see if I can do this without moving it too much, is when I put the, I have the, for instance, I have the shim, the two spacers, the shim, the bearing stack, and a shim, but this will, there is still some play in there. Is that a big deal? Oh, Collie05, thank you. You know what? I'm going to put this right in front of me so I don't forget to tell you. It's right in front of me. So my question to you, David, is, so there's still a little bit of movement even putting all those in, and this is all tightened in now. Is that movement a big deal, or is that gonna, the belt's gonna kind of self-center that all? Do you know what I mean? Yes, it's 500 by 500 by 500 MG Killer. So yeah, I'm wondering about that, because what I did over on this side, I'm gonna bump that camera if I move this like this. Hang on, let me spin this around. What I did on that side over there is I filled in the top part because I know that the belt's going on the bottom one there. I filled in the top part with extra shims so that it is, if I go over here, so this still spins freely where the belt goes, but there is no wiggle room up and down at all because I just threw extra shims in the top part and an extra shim in between the two spacers. But the pulley or the bearings are exactly where they should be because I've just got the one single shim on the bottom there. So I'm wondering, should I fill them in with shims and spacers, or is that little bit of play / movement going to be okay? That's all I need to know for anybody who cares. Anyways, that's what I've done there. So let's go back to this guy. Let's move this back around. Oof, yeah, this is a big boy. You can kind of see there. So Stephen Machado says I'd add another shim in the middle, which is doable. Well, I'd have to add the shim not to the middle because if we look, let me move that back over here. What we don't want to have happen is, if I zoom in on this, can I zoom in any further? Yeah, I think I can. It's going to get a little blurry for a second there. There we go. Right there. Okay, so he's right there. Who's right where? David has gone into hiding. He has. So what happens here, if I add another shim, it would have to be above this bearing stack. because basically it calls for a shim, 2 spacers, a shim, and then the bearing stack. If I add shims below it, it's going to raise that bearing stack slightly and possibly pull the belts out of alignment, or the one belt out of alignment. So if I were to add another spacer or another shim, it would be 1 or 2 shims to go on the very top of that stack. So I don't know if I need to. That's my only question. There he is. It's my catching name for the set of mods to the 3.1. I messed him up with a false start, but posted it in printables tonight. Yes, no problem, David. But I think you probably heard my question here about this. Should I add another shim to the top? Actually, as a matter of fact, I think I've added 2 extra shims to the top of this already, but we still have some play up here. Now, should I add 1 more shim to take that little bit of play out? Of course, I'd add the shim to the top so that we don't move the position of this bearing stack. So it's kind of what I need to know, sort of where I'm stuck at there. But otherwise, we did get, if we go to the overhead again, we got the X Gantry. This camera, can I turn that kind of like, you get the idea right about there. The X Gantry moves nice and smooth now. Very smooth. After loosening up, what we did is we loosened up these bolts underneath, and then it sort of moved everything into place. There's a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of resistance up here. I may loosen that up a bit more again, because I should really be able to just shove that all the way back, all the way forward, and it breaks itself just a bit here. So I may end up loosening these 2 here again, just a little bit. If you look at the top of the bearing stack, it's parallel to the gantry. Is it parallel to the gantry stack? I'm thinking it's actually lower to the gantry stack. Oh, I see what you're saying. That's an interesting question. No, it's pretty much, it's from the angle. So let me zoom out here. That's a great question, Stephen, and that's one thing we got to be sure of, which is why I wouldn't put spacers at the bottom. So if I zoom out here, and if I'm actually able to focus this, so there we go. Actually, no. You know what? I'm gonna what a silly thing I just did for that. I can zoom back in and kind of get it on this angle here, and then if I pull this up, now you can kind of see they're pretty close to being, well, this angle is really hard to see at, but I see what you're saying. You're saying the top of the gantry here and the top of this stack here. And of course they need to be parallel, which is why I don't want to necessarily, although that's a tiny, tiny bit of movement there. You did your first one last fall and forgot it. You added a 3mm spacer to the top of every bearing stack. Okay, so you added, basically, you took the play out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from the top of the rail to the top of this bearing stack here, and then I'm going to make sure that the top of the rail to the top of this bearing stack, like it looks like this one's much higher, but it's just the angle you're looking at right now. If I pull that back a little bit more, if I get the camera actually level, and if I, it's really hard to tell, but yeah, so I could possibly put another one, I could put one in the middle to raise that just slightly, but we don't want to go too much. So yeah. Yeah, I've ordered, I did a whole bunch of stuff from AliExpress. So I've got a whole bunch of stuff coming from AliExpress. As I say, we have these guys in now, whatever these guys, the standoffs. I've got a bunch of those in now. I've got some, I got some spacers coming from AliExpress because we need the M5 spacers in the 3mm. I've got M5, M3, and M6 spacers coming in. I don't need all those. I've got them in 2mm, 3mm, 4mm. Basically, the spacers are cheap to buy, so I bought a whole schlack of them. So, and then I've also bringing in some of the M6 by 12 bolts that go on the top of here. So you can change the belts in almost no time at all. Exactly. That's the main reason for this. So I think what I'll do while I've got this in position and while I'm here, because this is, of course, all part of the RatRig build. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up here, and I am going to get my head in here, and I'm going to look. Yeah, I think I could get away with a spacer. Actually, probably one more spacer in the middle of this below the bearings to raise that bearing stack up to make it more in line with this other one over here. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. That's the nice thing about this modification of David's as well, is it's so easy to get in here and change things without those plastic parts in place. So if we have this here, so we're going to work on this one right here. Let me move this camera a little bit more there so you can see. So the other thing that's going to change, and I've got them on order. This camera does not want to stay. Hang on one second. I think I have to, bear with me one second here. I just have to open the TinyCam app here, and then that'll let me, this will let me go ahead. I don't need to upgrade the software right now, but thank you for asking. That's going to let me go ahead and just move that camera just a little bit without being too fussy about it. There we go. So the other thing I have on order is right now we have M6 cap flathead screws here. They're M612s, and David did the same thing because we need M612 socket head screws up here in order to make that fit. But these work. These work. It's just it's a cosmetic thing. So I'm just gonna actually pop these off. They work, as I say, but I'd rather have the flat ones up there so that they're proper and they actually I can snug them down without worrying about hurting the aluminum at all. So that's the nice thing about this system, is that these just come right off like so. And I gotta loosen that bolt there. So where's my socket wrench here? So we'll stick our socket in the bottom hole. There we go. And we're going to loosen this M5 lock nut off, nylock nut. Now what I'm going to do is put a piece of tape on the bottom of that bolt so that the whole stack doesn't come shooting out the bottom when I take this nut off. So we take the nut off, and we take this plate off. And look at that, we have access to all those bearings right there. Well, that whole stack, simple. It's a great modification instead of the plastic. So I'm going to take one more shim. I'm going to remove the bearing stack, and I've got 3 shims on top. Just like that. I'm going to put one more shim down there just to raise those bearings a hair. And we'll put this whole stack back on. And then we have 3 shims. Now, again, I've ordered 2mm spacers. So what will likely happen is when I get the spacers in, I'll be able to replace all these little shims, like these 3 top shims, I can probably replace with a 2mm spacer. Let's see how thick are these shims. I think they're 1mm shims. They're 1mm shims. So I've put 3 shims on the top. I can get away with 1 shim and a 2mm spacer once my spacers come in. So that's the beauty of having a bunch of spacers for stuff like this. So then we can go back, we can come on here, we can put our plate back on like so. We'll snug up our plate with our hammer heads in here. And this kind of sort of just self-aligns itself a little bit. There we are. Got to make sure that's fairly aligned, and I can tell if it's aligned because that is going to be nice and freely moving. If this is bound up right here, then I know that my plate's crooked. Okay, and then like this. Yeah, the belt would auto align, but then again, you may have a little bit of pressure on the one side of the belt too, which I don't want. So this is okay. Now, if I check this out, yeah, there's very, if any, play in that stack at all. So I will replace 2 of those shims with a 2mm spacer once they arrive. You can watch your belt runs for diagnostic belt running. Exactly. You can see right in. You can watch the belts. It's easy to run the belts this way. We're not having to run through plastic printed parts. It's beautiful. It's awesome. So we'll just tighten this up here. And there we go. And I'll check. And yeah, we got free movement of these idlers of this stack right here. It's great. So there we go. The shim should be more durable than a spacer. Yeah, I guess so. But really, all it is a spacer. I just so I can free up some shims, because the shims are I don't have a lot of 1 millimeter shims. Whereas if I put a 2 millimeter spacer in there, the spacer's not going under. There's no pressure. There's no wear and tear. Nothing on the spacer. It's not even moving. It's just sitting there holding the bearing stack in place to where it should be. So the other thing that we did complete off camera, it was on camera. Some people saw it, some people didn't. So I will show you here. Is we put the modified. Who was it? Was it Vector 3D? This modification from? I think it was Vector 3D that this came from. But if I go to the floor camera again, and if I raise that a bit, there we go. And if I focus, so there is our there's our X gantry blocks. We have one on each side. So the difference between those and the original ones that were supposed to go on there is, let me see, this is the one. There's what the original one would have looked like. Okay, so if I can show you the difference, that goes on like this, okay? So the original one would look like this. So the original one, along with those pulleys, had a bunch of spacers, another stack of spacers that would go below it. And it seemed like kind of a waste of spacers, and it was not nearly as, I guess, solid, if you want to call it. And then also the loop for the hole for the belt is half the size as well on the other side. So, and then the same goes for the right side. It was replaced with this new printed part where you only had to put this one little stack in, and that was it. Yeah. Took out the need for additional spacers, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. I honestly don't think, it will be interesting, as you say, David, but I don't think there's going to be much of a need. I don't think it's going to wear. It would take a lot of wear and tear to wear one of them spacers out, if at all. Because as I say, it's not like the spacer's moving or rubbing. The spacer's against a shim. And yeah, okay, it's going to be maybe turning against a shim, but that's going to take a lot of turns to wear out an aluminum spacer. So if I'm right, it won't rotate. So it shouldn't rotate because these are tightened up. If I move this, none of the other spacers are rotating at all because the shim is pinching down on the bearings. And then the actual wheels, if you want to call it, the flange bearings, they're turning around those bearings. So you're not, actually the shims or spacers are not moving at all. They're tightened down, which is why I wanted to keep this stack as close to the proper height as possible with the extra shims and spacers so that nothing is rotating and wearing out. Anyways, we're good on that. So we're good on those sides. So when those other, when these guys come in, the proper ones here with the socket head, not the socket head, the you guys know what I mean. I'm going to replace these. So I've got, it requires 16 of them because there's 4 here and 4 on each of the corners. And so I think I've ordered 50. I think it came in a pack of 50 that I've got coming in. So I will enjoy modding and building as much or more than printing. David, I agree. And it's this kind of keeps you, it sounds silly, but it keeps me young because it keeps my brain going and I have to learn all these new things all the time. So, so speaking of learning new things all the time, I want to ask you, before I forget, who was asking me again? I'm bad. If they do, you might want to try a nylon washer. Yeah, that could, yeah. I mean, there's all sorts of options we can do here. But the beauty of this stack is it's easy to take this apart, even with the belt in. You can loosen the belts off, take it apart, remove your stack and replace anything in it. And you don't have to worry about that plastic part. Collie 05 was asking me about the label maker. This is the label maker I have. Oh, I keep wrong camera. So this is a Dymo, and it's called the Rhino 4200. Okay, that's the label maker I got from Maria for Christmas. The beauty of this label maker is it takes little cartridges like these. So, and the beauty of this is if you see the name on this cartridge, what it says there is, oh, hang on, that camera's not the best for showing this stuff, but what that cartridge says is heat shrink tube. This is 1/4 inch by 5 feet or 6 millimeter heat shrink tube. So this will print right on your heat shrink tube, and you can put it over your wires, which I will be doing on this build. And I think I have 2 sizes of heat shrink tube. This was 6 millimeter. And yeah, there's another one which is 9 millimeter heat shrink tube. Again, 5 feet. It's not a lot. Well, 5 feet is a lot of heat shrink tube when you're just printing little labels for your tubes. And then on top of that, then not just heat shrink tubes, but then you have your, oh, there's another heat shrink tube. Sorry, I forgot. I also have a 12 millimeter heat shrink tube. So I have 6, 9, and 12 millimeter. And then it also just takes your standard, oops, that's a battery compartment. This thing takes 6 AA batteries. And then it also takes, how do I open this again? Oh, right here. It also takes your standard Dymo label. So that happens to be a 12 millimeter black on white Dymo label. So it's your standard label maker plus your heat shrink tube printer. Works great. So yeah, that is the Rhino 4200 from Dymo. I have no idea what it cost. It was a Christmas gift. If I can find, just look it up on Amazon. You probably have a better chance of getting it in Amazon.com. It has a light, so if I power it on, you can. So it powers on. It's got a nice big display. It's got a backlit. So I was using it to label my my screw drawer. So an M536, of course, is one that I had in there. Really nice big display. It takes a little bit of getting used to what all the buttons do and how you change the functions and features in that, but it works great. You print, and then you have a little thing on the side. You cut your printed label off. So if I hit print right now, it prints fairly quick, prints the label out the top. I hit cut, and we have our printed label. That's not the cleanest one. I have a feeling that the sample supplies that came with it were are old. So, but yeah, it does what it's supposed to do, and it does it well. So let's power that off. There we go. Okay. Oh, I was going to talk to you. Okay, so on with the RatRig build a little bit. I'm going to be printing the EVA 3 hot end for it. So, but I'm having an issue, and I want an opinion on it. And this is kind of what I was pointing to on your stream today, Richard, when I asked the question about ABS and cooling. And I think I've kind of discovered an issue here. So here's one of the potential covers that I'm going to be putting on the EVA for the front. So it's basically, this is printed on the Voron 2.4, black ABS. Okay, beautiful. Looks good, right? Looks great. There's the front. It's got a fan shroud for people like me who tend to stick their fingers in the fan to protect you. It's got the EVA logo. And so that's the one potential cover for it. With the mosquito hot end I'm using, it's going to have a triple blow shroud, or a triple blow fan duct here. So they found that with the mosquito hot end, for some reason they were having cooling issues, but they found with this, when we're getting cooling from here, and back here, that it was fixing it no problem. So that's going to be the cooling duct for this. Okay, now I printed another. This is called the tank. This is the other hot end part called the tank. And it's now here's the issue. Look at that side. Okay, it's again right here, little bit of issue right there, but that's one side. Now this printed this way down with the cooling ducts on the Voron here and here. So this was the front of the printer, this was the back of the printer, and the side. Okay, so if you look at that side, now the Voron has, the 2.4 has cooling ducts on both sides of the hot end, but look at this side. Look at that. That's a cooling issue right there. Okay, that is a cooling issue. That side compared to this side. Look at that side, and then you turn it over, exact same. I'm sorry, actually, right, you can just look at right here, that side compared to that side. So my question is, do I have a clogged cooling duct or what? Because it's dual cooling. It's got cooling on both sides, but yet, I love this camera, but yeah, you have that side looking like that, and you have that side looking like that. So that is definitely a cooling issue. This was with the cooling fan at 35% on ABS. So that side, there's an issue. I'm not getting as much airflow on that side, obviously, as I am on that side. What do you guys think? I'm setting, this was 35% cooling. This side did not get enough cooling, obviously, right here. This side, the cooling was pretty good. I mean, there's a little issue right in here, but I would live with that. So, and I would say the ducting, it's not getting even fan pressure down both sides of the duct, is what I would think, because as I say, you have your cooling duct on this side and on this side, and it's dual, right? So, yeah, I got to check the ducts and see if the ducts are clogged or something. So, make sure they're using the same voltage. Well, it's actually one fan. It's one fan. It's the stealth burner hot end, and it's one single fan blowing down and separating into two ducts. So, yeah. Dead spot in the flow path. Yeah, it's got to be something. So yeah, Stephen, I see where you're going there, because some of these now, some people have one fan for each side, but this is one fan that shares both ducts. So I need to take that apart and see it. But yet at the same time, this piece that printed this way, I have no issues at all on either side of this. Mind you, there's not as, the overhangs are not nearly as dramatic on this, right? So this thing has hardly any overhangs to worry about. So that's why this printed clean. Same on this, although this had a couple overhangs, but if you look, one side printed just as good as the other side. There was no cooling issues on this one. So anyways, David, stop saying you're sorry. You're not Canadian. I'm Canadian. I'm the one that says I'm sorry. Don't worry about it, David. It's good. We have all the parts coming in. If anything, I thank you because of all the help you're giving me on this mod. I think this is great. I'm still going to be asking you more questions, so you're not off the hook. So if you're really sorry, you can make up for it, but you don't have to. My goodness, my friend. I'm going to be asking you more questions. So as we go. Do you print the stealth burner with supports? No, stealth burner's got no supports in it. It doesn't need supports. It shouldn't need supports. I mean, I can take the stealth burner apart right now if you guys want me to do that, and we can have a look at the fan duct. What the heck? We could just do that. It's you sent me an email. Yeah, I got your email earlier today. You better not have sent me another one saying you're sorry. If you did, I'm going to just delete it. Yeah, I saw this one here. There you said, and you just finished uploaded the 3. Yeah, that is perfect. Can I review? And I will have a look at it for sure and see. Actually, I'm just going to open that link right now, so it's there on my desktop. And yeah, perfect. Oh, and you even got the proper bolts on top of your AB motors. Look at that. Okay, cool. So yeah, guys, go ahead and check out that, or I'll put the link here, and you can see what David's gone and done on printables.com, since it is public domain. And you can see what he's done. He's put a lot of work into this, and I really appreciate what he's done here. And you can see what we're going to be doing here. And I'm going to post this, and there we go. So go ahead and check that out on printables.com and see what David Wilson has done for the RatRig 3.2 upgrade. Yeah. Is the cooling dual fan? No, the cooling is single fan. Single fan cooling. So let's go over here really quick and get this sucker here. Let's grab my. I just finished printing that one today too. So let's go ahead and pull this up front. Actually, what I'm going to do is, I have a habit of taking the hot end apart. I'm going to heat up the nozzle, remove the filament, and then take the hot end off. And we'll have a look at that cooling duct. 250 for the hot end to get rid of that stuff, and then we'll let it cool. But yeah, that's it's odd that I had no problem on this part. You know, because this has some overhangs on both sides there. I mean, you can see the overhangs that printed this way, so you can see the probably, I don't know, 30 degrees, whatever it is. But both sides were perfect. But yet on the same thing, same angle of overhangs, you have this side, which is crappy. And I don't know. It's just so odd. So unless, well, no, I don't know. It's in an enclosure. RatRig's bamboos are a perfect pair of printers, fast and big. Yes. Oh man, you guys talk about that K1 that was released today. That is, I'm telling you, if it's as good as they say, I'm impressed. I am very impressed. So there's a little cooling issue right there on this one if you want to get really fussy. If you look right in the back on the bottom of these fan ducts right here and right here, little bit of cooling issues right there, but nobody's ever going to see that. And it's a musical duct. Oh, pretty cool. Anyways, you put the brakes on your build and reprinted the RatRig duct and added a beacon 3D probe. I have a beacon on its way to me. I figured that's a perfect probe for a 500. I was just about to touch the bed. That's a perfect probe for a 500 millimeter bed. Perfect probe for it. So while I'm waiting for this to warm up, although it won't take long, it's already at 249. So let's get the filament out of here. Okay. And let's cool the hot end down now. Once the hot end cools down, I'll take it apart. I honestly don't know. I can't see, oh, that's hot. I gotta be careful. I can't see anything being wrong with that cooling duct, but you never know. It's a cooling issue. I mean, I think everybody on stream would agree with that. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this right up here, and I'm going to do one more loosen of these bolts, and see if I can't get this to run a little smoother. Just this one, and there's one top one. One top one here. Let's see if you guys can see what I'm doing here, kind of. Yeah. And this one here. Okay. Let's loosen the other side off. That way we can, if there's any racking, I want zero racking on this. It probably was fine. I'm probably being a little bit fussy. But I just don't want anything to go wrong with this build. I want this build to be straight up. Oh, look at that. Now that's really smooth. Now that oh yeah. So there's definitely a little bit happening. Okay. So now that we're in place down at this end, we'll snug these back up. It will be. Now, okay, the K1, not the Max, the standard K1, which is the one they're pre-selling right now, it's not a bad size. It's probably a size which would, I guess if you want to say quote unquote, compete with the Prusa, 220 by 220 by 300. Not a bad size. The interesting part about it is that for less than the cost right now of the P1P, for that, which they include shipping, you get a fully enclosed printer. So fully enclosed with a few extra features. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how that stacks up. And then you also can add, it's got the full screen, unlike the P1P. It's got the bigger screen, the 4.3-inch screen. And unlike the P1P, you can add your high-res camera and your LiDAR to it. So you're getting, right away, you're getting an enclosed P1P clone, if you want to call it that. And you're paying less money than a P1P. So the best you could do with racking is about 2 millimeters. Okay, this is perfect. So these are perfect. Oh. Yeah, this is moving much smoother now. Okay, so it really helps. Go to the overhead. Let's go ahead and swing that overhead camera over a bit. It's when it tension the belts for sure. But as long as I have smooth motion here, that's really all that I'm looking for right now is a smooth motion. Now, to make sure I'm not racked prior to belting, because if I'm racked prior to belting, it's just going to get worse. But this is, I mean, this is perfect right there. And I'm hitting both sides at the same time on the back. Oh, I may be a millimeter out on this one side on the back here, if that. Which all that means is that either my frame's not perfectly square, but I'm not getting any racking in that sense. So I'm going to be happy with that. So the only thing I haven't built, because I'm waiting for the parts, is the back here. If I get around here and I can, my hand, is the back parts here where the AB motors go. So we already have the bottom part in here. Then we have some bearings that are going to stack up in here. And then we have a plate that's going to go on top here. And then the motors are going to go in here. So the belts should equalize that. Yes, absolutely. And that was when belted. Okay, interesting, David. So yeah. So we just have to do those. We have the plates. So we have the plates that are in place. And then we have the two top plates that are going to go on that. But as I say, we're just waiting for the spacers. But I could actually start putting the motors on, I suppose. Let's just have a look. Well, this is cooling down. Is that hot and it's still at 50? Oh, it's 52. Okay, I can shut this down now. Let's just go ahead and shut that down. I want to have a look at that. Let's close that. I want to have a look at that that fan duct. Let's shut down. Okay, and my screen has gone blank. Hit my power button back here somewhere. Oh, I'm on the other side. Wrong side, I think. What side's my power button on? Oh, no, must be on this side. Where are you, power button? There it is. Oh, there we go. I couldn't find my power button. That's fair enough. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull this off. Yeah, we're going to go look at that fan duct right now. Let's pull it off. Oops. Helps if I unscrew them instead of screwing them in. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I have the two-part PCB in here. So I shouldn't have to worry about unhooking any wires here. Okay. These long 50 millimeter screws, there we go. Get in the hole. And last one. Oh, not quite. They screw in farther than I thought. There we go. Let's pull this off. Okay. And then the actual, I guess I got to take this other bottom part off too. Okay. So I got to take another screw off here. Wonder if an X brace at the top of the box would help. I don't know. Motors are easy to mount with the M3 bolts and hex spacers. Yes. Okay, I just have to look at the orientation of the motors and all that stuff because it's been a while since I've mounted those motors. Okay, so let's pop off the hot end where the fan duct is and pop off the thermistor and the heater cartridge. Come on. There we go. Okay. So here's what we're looking at. So this is on this way, and this is going down this side, which is the side I was having the heating issues with. So basically the way this works, for those that were wondering, or if you're wondering, top fan, top one's the cooling fan, part cooling fan. It comes down into, it blows down into here. and it separates into your left and your right cooling ducts. Okay, so now you might think, well, it's blowing over this side, so this is going to get more air on this side, but that's the side we were having the issues with, was this side over here. Now, looking up into that part, into the hole, it's hard to see, but there's nothing impeding that hole. Nothing impeding that hole. Okay, other than the little fuzz here. But there's nothing blocking the holes here at all. I mean, nothing there. So the next question is, when we look, so then they come down, those two parts come down into these holes, which are going down to the hot end. So the side I was having issues with is this side right here on the tool head. That's what I'm looking at right now, Richard. Exactly. You beat me to it. Very cool. I can change that Revo. So on the tool head, let's take it apart. Actually, see, I get, okay, hold on. I get good airflow. So if I plug this over, hang on. I seem to have a leak on this side, so hang on. Oh, I see. Excuse me. Hang on. Okay. Oh. Okay. I must have sucked. I probably breathed in a piece of loose dust or filament. Okay, interesting fact here. If I cover this one, okay, cover this one, it seems to be blowing just fine. They seem to be blowing fine. The side with the issue is the side where the wires are going to. He's doing a water test. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I sucked something up there. The windpipe. Oh, let's go back. No. So really, I'm going to check. Let me check one thing. Let me grab a piece of. Let me just cut a piece of stray filament off of here. This is my stray filament roll. Okay. I just want to see. Maybe I probably need a flexible filament for this, but yeah, I do. I was going to just shove a piece of filament down these holes and see if I could actually get them to come out the other end. There doesn't seem to be anything impeding this. Now, the other option is when these two get married together, like this, is there any leakage happening here? I don't see that. I mean, these are binding together really well. So may need dual fans for ABS or whatever you duct in was the issue. Yeah. That's a saliva test, not a water test. Yeah, exactly. But these seem to go together fine. Okay, so where that fan part comes in and goes into those cooling ducts seem to sit fine. So it's just it's a mystery. It's a mystery because there is good airflow there. I feel like I'm playing a wind instrument. Yeah, there's good airflow, so I don't think there's a problem with the fan ducts with this. So You might be right there, Friendship Lights. You never know. No more blowing or you'll get demonetized. Yeah. So yeah, so I can stick this up the fan duct hole and it comes out no problem. If I stick it up the second fan duct hole, it comes out no problem. Okay. And let's go to the side that we're having the issue with, which is that side. Stick it up the first hole. No problems. And stick it in the second hole. There. And no problem. So those holes are going through. The only possibility, the San Francisco test will be next. What? The only thing is there's something inside, some infill or something like, I don't know, but no, they seem. They're blowing about equal. Okay, so they're about equal. I'd say there's not a problem with that. Maybe they need dual fan duct. I shouldn't need dual fans for ABS because, the Voron is made to print those high temperature materials. And it printed this piece, no problem, with the same kind of overhangs on the front. Same angle overhangs, and it printed this piece without issue. So maybe it just doesn't like this thing. I don't know. Maybe what I'll try is I'll orient my part differently. I'll turn the part 90 degrees, see what happens. I'm not worried about the strength of the part going 90 degrees because it's not like it's going to be under a lot of pressure. And these layer lines are extremely strong anyways. I have to go pretty hard to break that. There, I broke it, but still. So I'll turn it 90 degrees. I can even turn it 180 and try it. So maybe that's what I'll do. So anyways, in the meantime, we're just here discussing our RatRig issues. This is a RatRig stream, so I'm not overly concerned about, about that. So let's go ahead and put this back together real quick because I hate to take something apart and not put it back together. Floor camera, that's not very good. Whoa, dude, zoom out, and focus, and down, I said. There we go. We'll just put this back together real quick. I know that's blurry. Come on, my eyes deceive me. There we go. Try reprinting a piece in a different direction. Hey, good idea, Richard. I'm going to try that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to try that. So let's go ahead. Put this back on. Oh, this is my favorite part. Did I ever tell you this is my favorite part? Putting this on and then plugging in my my cartridge and my heater block. Not. Although it'll go easy today because I bitched about it. Come on. Get in there. That wire is in my way. Get out of my way. I hate this part. Come on. Okay, I need to get my cheater. I can't do it. Where's my little gripper things? This will work, but I'm looking for my forceps. There they are. Where can I find one of those pretty build plates with the red Voron logo on it? Probably LDO Motors. You could probably get one there. Let's bring this light over. Is that even plugged in? No, I don't think it's even plugged in. So let's not bring this light over. I should be able to do this without light. I just have a hard time getting these plugs in just because of the angle they're at. There we are. There's that one. And then the thermistor. There we go. Okay, so we have that in. Okay, let's close this top up. Okay, there we go. And we'll throw the fan duct back on. Make sure I line those pins up correctly. There we go. And there we go. Okay. 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 Start it with that. I'm going to finish it with the with good old blue boy here, because the that driver rubs against the sides there. Okay. Nice thing about this stealth burner too is it's that easy to take apart, troubleshoot, and put back together. It's pretty quick. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and power this back on. Oh, that power switch is way back there. I should move the power switch on this thing to the front. Yeah, I just leave it on all the time usually anyway, so. And are we on? I think we're on. Hard to tell with this screen if we're on or not. And we will turn that, I'm going to turn that piece 90 degrees and see what happens. Or I should turn it 180 and see if the issue stays consistent with the side. And then that will eliminate the fact whether or not it's cooling or not. Am I off tomorrow? No, I'm not. I have to work. But then that's what you said. Then I said that printed solid. Printed solid sells them. There we go. Okay, so we are started up again. Let's go ahead and get Clipper running again. There's Clipper. Let's go ahead and heat we're going to heat the bed up 100. And we're going to heat the hot end up to 55. And we're going to reload the filament. And we'll try it again in a different orientation. Then we'll get on with something here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that was a mystery today. I tried 3 different times with 3 different coolings. And I had the same results. And, you know, it's not insanity because I did try something different. I wasn't trying the same thing and expecting different results. So I'm going to get this started, and then we're going to then I'll start maybe getting these AB motors going on the RatRig here, since this is theoretically a RatRig stream. And by the way, this stream is sponsored by these folks right here, Polymaker, the official sponsor of DeWitt 3D Canada. They provided the filament I'm using for rebuilding the RatRig, and they are providing filament for a lot of projects that I have planned for the future. Back to the future. Sorry. Oh, look what just finished printing on my bamboo. I wasn't happy. I designed this really quick myself. I was kind of proud of it. It says, hard to see, but it says DeWitt bits there. Problem with this little guy is that if I wanted to get a bit out of here, it's really hard to reach in without cutting the tip of your fingers to get that out. So I found this. You guys will all recognize the bottom of this, right? From what system that's from. But I found this. So there's my new bit holder from Gridfinity. Woohoo! Look at that. And that was done on the bamboo with the AMS. So we have our colors and our names of our bits, and it's bigger, yes, but I shouldn't cut my hand pulling the bits out. So we have a 10 millimeter bit. Look at that. Look at that. We have a 9.5 millimeter bit. Look at that. We have a 8.5. I don't have a 9. We have a 8 millimeter. We have a 7.5 millimeter. And guess what's next? A 7, a 6.5, 6, 5.5, 5.0, 4.5, 4.0, 3.5, and a 3. Much nicer. Much nicer. Look at that. So now I can actually reach in and grab a bit without having to cut my fingers, and I didn't put the numbers on mine. This has the numbers on it, so I know exactly. So now I just have to go buy 1, 2, 3, 4 bits to fill this all in. And I get these bits from a local place called KMS Tools. They have a wide selection of metric bits. Much more gooder. How many hours was the new one? This print here was 4.5 hours. This is, if I squeeze it really hard, I can crack it because I only did 10% infill on it. Because it doesn't have to be super strong, but it is. Oh yeah, it's pretty strong. 4 perimeters, 10% infill, and all the holes are actually depth. Why is that one depth differently than this one? I say they're all depth properly, except the 3.5 one seems to be depth a little lower than the 3 for some reason, but I don't care. That's much better. Look at that. Anyways, cool. Squirrel. I had a squirrel moment. I saw that on the printer ready to go. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to load my filament. Load away. There we are. Okay, we have filament coming out. So let's cool that hot end off to 150. And that's going to print at a little lower temperature once I get it going. And I'm going to open up. So here's the part I'm printing right here. So what I will do is I will go ahead and take that part. I will rotate the X, Y, Z. I want to rotate Z 90 degrees, 180. No, I'm going to go 90. We'll rotate it that way. We'll print it this way and see what happens. So if I slice it up, so we'll print it that way and see if we have the same cooling issues or not. So we're going to call this one 90 degree, 90 shroud, just so I know I rotated that one 90 degrees. 90 shroud. There we go. And there it is right there, and we will print. And I'm just going to take my brush real quick here because I do not have a nozzle cleaner on this yet. I'm going to make sure that my nozzle is nice and clean because I need a nice clean nozzle for the Z probe. There we go. We'll let that print, and we'll go from there. I think it was 35. 35. Oh, the plate, the cost of the build plate. Yes. Sometimes I have to, because there's a slight delay in what I say and what you guys chat, I have to think back what I was talking about and what you guys were talking about. Okay, cool. So we have that. Now I'm going to open the documentation. There's the EVA documentation. So there's the hot end I'm building, just so you guys, if you want to see it for the RatRig. So this is the EVA. That's big. Can I make that smaller? There we go. So that's the EVA. That's the tank front end that I was trying to print that I'm not having any luck with. I would love to do it in the 2 colors, but we'll see. But yeah, so that's EVA. That's what I'm building. The Bondtech is the extruder I'm using. So that's pretty much the configuration, other than the fact that I'm using the triple duct fan on this, and I'm using a mosquito hot end. But that's a nice looking hot end right there. Or, you know, so looks really good. So that's EVA. It is, isn't it, Jack? Yes. EVA is good looking. EVA is one of the best looking hot ends, I'm telling you. Okay, now if I go to, where are my documents for the RatRig now? I've lost my documents. Oh, there they are right there. Okay, so we're looking at the motor assembly, but we're not going to, actually, I think I need to open David's documents. I believe he did get as far as the motor assembly, except for the spacers, which is fine. We're going to add the spacers after. So here's what I'm looking at. So that's the one that we just finished building. These are the front idlers. Okay, so they look like that. And as he said, we got to order the proper bolts, which I think he's got now. And there's the other one there. So that's the lower assembly. Okay, now we are going to do this one. I didn't print these parts. This part. Oh. So I guess I do have one plastic part I need to print here. This one, which is the motor support right printed part. Or no, or do I not need that? I'm always messed up here. David, are you still on here? I don't think I need that. Because there's how it used to look, and there's how it looks now. And there's where the bearing stacks go on these ones. And then there's where the bearing stacks. Oh, so I don't need that part. I don't think I need that part unless it goes underneath. No, it shouldn't, because the motor is going to stick up right through. No, no, no. No, I think I'm good. Look at the printables. Oh, okay. Let me look at the printables one here. Let me bring this over here. Let's bring this Windows printables window up here. V-Core 3 XY joiners and V-Core mod. Printables mod, V-Core 3 motor mounts. Okay. So I do need this piece. Okay. Okay, let me just make sure. Yeah, so we do need that piece. So there's a right and a left. So if I go to the download section, we have a right and a left. Oh, and then we also have, oh, the joiners I've already done. So I need to download that motor support and that motor support. Let me ask you this. Do these need to be printed in ABS or PETG? Or are they just strictly supporting the motors? Why are you not showing me the 3D view of it? There we are. Oh, you little bugger. You little bugger. Not showing me the 3D view. Well, can I see it in wireframe? No. Okay, that I've done. We've got that mounted. There's where the belts go around the corner pieces. Okay. Okay, so there's where all the bearing stacks go, and there's where we need those 2mm bearings up top, or 2mm spacers. I see. Okay. Where is my StreamYard window? There we go. Hey, Poor Boy Channel, have a great night. Take care. Under the bottom. Look at the printables under the bottom. PETG or ABS, but print with a lot of layers. So I do need these pieces. So these are two pieces I need to print then. Let's go back to the details. And I think I've got everything that I need except those. 3.2 motor in motion. Let's have a quick look. Perfect. I have no doubt that this works just fine. Oh, we got a little bit of stalling on that video. Re-uploaded this model. The user is not the original author of this model. That's fine. RatRig V-Core 3 joiners, V3D, Vector 3D. That's who did those. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we'll get these two parts printed. I wonder, you're saying use a lot of layers. So five perimeters is basically 5 perimeters, 40% infill, something like that. I could fire them up on the bamboo here, possibly if I do ABS, because they should not have any problems with warping. They don't look like they're that thick, and they should be quick. Yeah. Okay. So let's do 40%, 5 perimeters, 4 bottom, 4 top. So I downloaded them. Okay, I downloaded them. So let's go back. Here we go. So let's go ahead and open up. Okay, I got too many windows open here. Too much on the go tonight. That's okay. Not going to complain. Let's go ahead and open up Orca Slicer. There's Orca Slicer. I'll bring it over to the other window so you guys can see, but don't judge it from the looks, because this other monitor makes my, I don't know why this other monitor screws this slicer graphic GUI up so badly. It's crazy. Anyways, there's the piece that we just finished printing there, so we can go ahead and get rid of that. And let's go to my download folder. And let's find those pieces I just downloaded. There's that one, and there is that one. There we go. So we have the two pieces. We have the right and the left. But first, not ABS Plus. No. Okay, but first, I got to put some ABS in here. What do I have? Whoops. Sorry about that, fan. Keep knocking over my little LDO fan. Poor thing. It's beautiful, too. Look at that. Whoa. I don't know what it all means, but hey, it's kind of gorgeous. Okay, come on. Okay, so let me find, let's pop out this gray. And let's find me some ABS that'll fit in here. I've got my black running on here. Pro PLA. Ideally black. Do I have any more black ABS here? Metallic gold. Snow white. We don't want white. Let's be different. Let's use olive green. ASA will do as well. Yeah. Where's my brown ASA? I don't know if that'll fit. The spool will fit. Let's see what I got from ASA. Where's my brown ASA? Where did I put it? That's a good idea. Brown ASA is right up here. Polymaker. And go figure. You think I can find my you think I have any luck finding my cardboard spool adapters for this stuff? No, I don't. I have my brown ASA, but it's in cardboard spools, which will not work on the AMS. So what we will do, let's just do a quick, what the heck? It shows you guys this for those of you who haven't seen this. Let's wind the rest of that brown ASA onto a bamboo spool. What do you say? Huh? Because I want to. Color won't be seen. No, that's okay. I don't have any ASA or ABS that'll go on this thing too easily. So is that the one? That's the one. Or is it the black one? Doesn't matter. The black one works. So let's go ahead and, for those of you who have not seen this thing in action, this is a work of art. Hey, Jerry. The only thing I had to do on this was drill a little hole for the filament. So let's grab this guy. I don't mind. This doesn't ruin the spools. There we go. Whoa! I just lost all my windows. There we go. Let's drill another one right there, just because I can. Okay, so we put this in like so. We take our donor spool and we find our proper size spool insert, which is this one here. And put this in here. Put this on top. Whoops, screw this on. Your polymaker spools are no issues. Must be a Canadian thing. Oh, okay. Well, I just want to show this off. What the heck? We bring this around. We bring this through this. Come around. Find a hole. Oops. Stick it in the hole. I said, stick it in the hole. There we go. Oh, don't break off, you dumb thing. It doesn't want to stay. I think I have to kind of go like this. Really, this is easy when I really try, I promise. Like that. And then we do this. And then in about less than a minute or two, in the upper hole, not the lower. If you had to do this before printing, you don't have to do this all the time. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. I could always alter my AMS, but I don't want to alter my AMS. This is just for spools that are not compatible with the AMS, and it's far and few between. I know for a fact that I believe Richard will concur to this, but there may be some more AMS compatible spools coming out in Canada eventually. And just like that, that was what, under a minute? We have a Bamboo Lab AMS compatible spool. No fuss, no muss. Whole lot quicker than trying to unclog a jammed AMS or struggling with your spool if it won't work on here properly. So there we go. I have no problem. Under 2 minutes. Okay, maybe a little more than that, but what the heck. There are ring things on printables you should print on the rim and make them roll. I know, I have those ring things. I printed a bunch of them. You think I know where I put them? I have them. I printed a whole bunch of them. I don't know where I put them. They're probably somewhere. I can probably see them if I look around very carefully, but this gave me an opportunity to show off this beautiful, fully 3D printed spool rewinder doomer thingy. So there we go. You know, I like showing off some of the printed projects I did. Fully printed on the P1P. And then we're done. And by the time I put this away, well, even faster than that, the Bamboo has already loaded my ABS. So now I can come in to Bamboo Lab. And this is not a Bamboo stream. This is just me showing device. I can come in here. It's got a question mark. It doesn't know what it is. So I click on this and I can tell it that it is generic ABS. And that it is brown. But I like to do something really light and different because I like to see it on the slicer. So I say orange, but I know it's brown. I'm going to confirm that. Then when I go over to my prepare screen, I can tell it that in number 4, I have this generic ABS. And that I can go ahead and change my filament over here to my generic ABS, and this one to my generic ABS, which I know is brown. It looks orange, I know, but hey, don't shoot me. I'm just the messenger. We'll arrange those. We'll go ahead and we'll make those 5 perimeters, 4 and 4. We're going to go 40%. I like to use gyroid when I'm doing parts I want a little bit of strength for. Speed is fine. Support we don't need, and we don't want a brim, so there's no brim. I believe the temperatures they're going to give me on this are just fine. 260 first layer, 270 because it's going to print a little quicker. I'm going to go down to 260. I don't want to print this stuff too hot. 100 for the bed is fine. And now I've lost the ability to get rid of that window, unless I get OK or escape. There we go, because it went off the top of my window. Now if I slice that, and if I go ahead while I'm on the Bamboo here, and I go ahead and start preheating the bed here, because we know it takes a little while for Bamboo to send their projects to the cloud and back, because, you know, all us paranoid people don't want them stealing. I don't want them stealing these print files from me knowing I'm printing them, because, hey, you never know what they're going to do to me, those bad guys at Bamboo. And we'll hit send. There we go. Shrinkage into account. All the other parts I've been printing on here in ABS and ASA, I've had no problem with shrinkage so far. We should be good. The only thing I will do while that bed is heating up is I will give it an extra little bit of, I'll give it an extra little bit of love. There we go. Right where those parts are going to print. There we go. That'll just help ensure some adhesion because there's not an enclosure there. So we'll throw some extra nanopolymer on there. Exactly, David Wilson. I'm proud to finish in under 2 minutes. Yeah. Now, I'll bet if I went and took a quick glance around, I'll find those rims now that I've done that. I printed 4 sets of those rims, and I put them somewhere where I'd remember where I put them. And I don't remember where I put them. Like, you'd think I'd hang them somewhere where they could easily be found, or I'd put them over with the filament. But no, that would be too easy. So they are here somewhere. but I'll end up printing more, I'm sure. But yeah, that's all right. We don't need, we're not out for perfection. What are we at time-wise here? We are at 9 o'clock. We got another half hour. Then we're good to go. Not after you said that. Yeah, I know. You was in the pool. You was in the pool. Oh, nice. I'd like to be in a pool. Teza, story of your life. Yeah, they are here. I could look all day. I'd never find them. And then I'll find them when I'm looking for something else. That's typical of us makers. I know that for a fact. Take a quick look over here where all my filaments, my stash of filament is. Nothing there, nothing there. No, nothing there. Not where you'd think it would be, right? So, yeah, it's all right. Actually, they'd be ideal just sticking on top of all these Polymaker boxes is the ideal place for them. But no, I make it more difficult for myself because I want a challenge when I go to find stuff like that, right? So anyways, with that said, let's go ahead and have a quick look. Oh, I can't build those stacks because I need these pieces for the motors to go on the motors under the motor plates between the motors. So that's okay. So we can't really do that right now. Stop looking and you'll find them. Yeah, I know. But it's one of those things that nags on you. You can't stop looking. So other than those pieces that we're going to print here, we are printing. We're heating up the bed. We're already at 68 degrees on the bed. We have these pieces, which are fine. All the other pieces that I need to be printed are fine, are here. I need to come up with a new solution for my power switch for this because I'm not putting the side panels back on. So I think there is a mod or something that I can put in here, or I can design something where I can just have the power switch sitting on the side here, like down here or something like that with a plug, or even on the back. I could have it, I could have it on the back here, something, on the back. But I'm not putting the side panels back on. I am not going to enclose the RatRig. So, yeah. How long on the prints? Stop looking. It'll always be the last place you look at. Well, if you don't take it out and use it, it's going to rust. Yes. You subbed to place fit for a year. Oh, to place it. Okay, cool. You made a plate that holds a Voron 2.4 switch and filter inlet socket. Nice. Oh, there's a lot of options for power. Yeah, exactly. I just got to switch that around. So the print on this, it says it's going to be 40 minutes to print those, David, which is not bad. I mean, it's pretty quick. We're not going to build them tonight because we got 30 minutes left on the stream. If that, as long as the viewership doesn't drop off like hot potatoes, we'll keep doing that. We'll keep on. Right now we have 28 people viewing and we have 21 likes. So 7 people do not like this stream. That's okay. I can handle the rejection. I really can. But yeah, I really can. Sonic pad control screen. So who's excited for? Let's have a look. This is interesting. Since we're waiting for this thing to warm up. Oh, by the way, the silly me. Let's just let's not talk about this yet. Let's talk about me. Steve did one with a USB in it as well. Okay, cool. Gut punch. What? What's going on? I don't know what's going on, Andrew. You're welcome here. I must have missed something. What did I win? What am I getting all wound up at? Okay, I obviously missed something, so I'll let you guys banter back and forth. It's all friendly here. Everybody gets along and nobody is annoying. Nobody is if you were being annoying for any reason to me, I have the ban button. I have the timeout button, but no, I've never done that and I never will. I obviously missed something in there. That's okay. When you're live streaming and you're talking about all your stuff, you tend to miss things. But what I was going to say, the exciting part here is we have, let's see what's going on. Let me turn the light on in this chamber first, because we're going to go to this camera. And with the reflection there, it's hard to see. But I'll bet if I turn the light in the chamber on, because, you know, I have that ability. Let's turn the chamber lights on, or the case lights. And that part that we're printing at 90 degrees on a 90-degree angle is printing. So we will see if we have the same issue. If we have a cooling issue on the same side, we'll see if that repeats itself. What do you think? Maybe, maybe not. Over the band hammer. Owner of the band hammer, yes. I'm a great guy. Thanks, David. Appreciate that. I was winding my filament. Oh, gosh, no. I was winding my filament when there was a conversation going on. That's okay. I'm not even going to go back and look at it because there's no reason to. Everybody here gets along great. Everybody here gets along great. I know everybody respects everybody's opinion on everything. At least I do. I know everybody else does too. So we're cooling at 40% right now on the fan. And yeah. So, which is what I did before. So it was 40% we did the cooling on. So, which is fine. It worked for these parts. It worked for all these other parts. So it should work for this. I have a lot of patience. I never used to, Friendship Lights. There was a time when you would say I was the most impatient person you'd ever meet, but I've learned a lot about patience over the last several years. So, and especially when streaming and doing this stuff live. Oh, ask some people who have watched me. I've been doing things on things, and I've been this close to snapping, but it happens. First layer, you're out. Great stream. Thanks so much, Richard. Talk to you later, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate you being here as always. Party at David Wilson's place tomorrow. Yes. Yeah, you guys, okay. It looks like you guys have all made up. That's good. That's awesome. Okay, so what was I... For those of you that didn't see it, I guess if you had your head in the sand all day, and yeah, that's not an insult to anybody that didn't see it. I'm just kidding. Here was the big news today, and we'll just do this while we're, I got another 20 minutes here, and we're having some things print here. This was the big news today. Look at that. Did they lower the price on that? No, $7.99. Okay, for the kit for the K1 Speedy. Now, the only thing you don't get in this kit, now this is pretty impressive. I didn't watch the whole live stream today, but 32 millimeters flow rate, like pretty incredible. They have a new OS for it. They have dual cooling fans, a whole new designed hot end, 600 millimeters a second, boasting print speeds. Again, they have a cloud thing, yada, yada. Not that anybody's going to trust the cloud anymore. Oh, curmudgeon, look at that. Polymaker Pet G is giving you fits. I'm not a big fan of Pet G anymore. I really am not. But, I mean, they've thrown everything into this, okay? 600 millimeter print speeds. Let's be realistic, okay? You're not going to achieve that and get high quality prints on a consistent basis. But anyways, we're not going to worry about that. Hands-free auto leveling, that's something that I like to see so that you don't have to screw bed screws. You don't have to do anything. It's got auto leveling like a lot of these other new ones in the coming up. Where did that go? There we go. And solve ringing with G sensor. Basically, it's got an input shaping on it is what it's got. They're talking about 12 times faster than regular FDM printers. 13-minute benchy, ABS. So they had to obviously top the 20-minute benchy that Prusa did. Okay. Yeah, on the SE6 and scanner. A lot of people don't trust these guys, but hey. Dual fan cooling, cooling effect comparison. Well, we know this. That's no secret. That's not groundbreaking. Creality Print 4.3, so they've got their own slicer now. They've kind of done what Bamboo did and got their own slicer, but it's not proprietary. You can slice with other slicers. Print and monitor anywhere, that's fine. Flexible build plate, finally. Thank you, Creality, finally. Halot box adapts simpler workflow, includes many presets. Halot Manage Pro, compatible with other slicer software. Looks like their bed heats up. They've got a much nicer, I think that's a touch screen, as a matter of fact, versus the P1P, say. Quick heating bed, 60 degrees, 60 Celsius in 180 seconds. To me, that's not super fast. That's still 3 minutes. 180 seconds, they try to make it sound faster, but it's still 3 minutes. Oh yeah, 2 nozzles. One is hardened, exactly. Fully enclosed. Okay, die-cast aluminum frame, CNC machine, so it's rigid, which is great. Fully enclosed, which is awesome. I don't understand this graphic. You have a G sensor on, G sensor off, no ringing at high speed. You know, big deal. Input shaping's been around for a while. USB or Wi-Fi, so they give you that option. Delicate texture without Z-banding, basically. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. And if you look at the specs here, 220, 220, 250, so they're right in there with the Prusa Mark III, Mark IV, size-wise, a little smaller than the P1P on the Bamboo, because we're looking 256 by 256 on the Bamboo. So a little bit smaller, not deal breaker. But here's the one that you got to look and see. Okay, so they have the AI camera and a LiDAR, which are both optional. So they're not included, but that does tell me, okay, so where I'm getting at with this is for, and this is Canadian dollars right here, guys, $800 Canadian. The P1P is $899 Canadian. Okay, you get the big screen, you get the enclosure, you get all the features. Whether they work as well or not, we're going to find out, right? You get all the features, including the self-leveling, blah, 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 input shaping that you get on the P1P, plus the bigger screen, touch screen, plus the enclosure for $100 less than the P1P. Unlike the P1P, now I don't know about the quality of the camera, but unlike the P1P, you can add a LiDAR. Okay, you can add the artificial LiDAR, and then you can add a camera. I don't know the quality of this camera, so I can't say, well, that's better than the P1P, because the P1P camera sucks. We know that. It does decent time lapses and it's okay for monitoring, but we don't know what this camera includes. But the fact you can add the LiDAR, the fact that it's got the touch screen, the fact that it's enclosed, if it performs, is going to give the P1P a run for its money. So that's all I'm saying. Oh, dual cooling fans, yeah, $599 US. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, a lot of people are on track for the 5-head model. That's awesome. Yeah, so a lot of people have sour taste in their mouth from Creality, which is legitimate, because they released a bunch of stuff, I think, just to release a bunch of stuff. They tried to get into the Core XY market with the 6 or with the 7 or whatever it was. I haven't been following them. But I don't know how long this thing has been in R&D or how long this thing has been in development, but it's very, very, it almost looks like, and it's kind of funny, Creality cloning somebody else, but it almost looks like a Bamboo clone versus everybody who's been cloning the Creality printers, right? So, yeah. Yeah, they are. Isn't it crazy? And it's a really good, the Ender 6 and Ender 7. Yeah, it's a really good price for everything that they're saying you get, if it all turns out to be decent quality. That's the key thing, is until I actually see it running and see the quality that comes off it, like we have on the Bamboos, we don't know if it's a good deal or not. So we'll have to see. No, 220, 220, 250 is not huge. But what is the Mark III? The Mark III and Mark IV are no bigger, are they? I'm just saying they're competing in that area. But then they have the XL, which is 280, the K1 Max, the bigger one, which is what, a 280 by 280 or something? So, But anyways, my hesitation is I've been thinking like, do I want to order the Mark III to Mark IV upgrade? Or for the same amount of money, do I want to look at one of these? You know, so that, and I'm sure there's a lot of people thinking that. So that's, yeah. So there's a lot to think about here. So you're only interested in 350 cubed or bigger. I've got my big size covered here, so I'm good. So yeah, it is a tough choice. I have not seen any of the big channels. I've not seen anybody with one of these, which I'm really surprised that some of the bigger influencers have not received any of these yet. So yeah. That they don't really mention what it uses. I don't think it uses V rollers. It's Core XY, and it looks like, no, okay, if you look at this picture, they look like carbon rods or rods of some sort on the X. And look, it's even got a drag chain. Okay, you've got a drag chain, Core XY, and it looks like it's running on rods and rails. You know, it's all rods. So there's X rods and Y rods, and it's got triple Z screws, triple Z lead screws. 1, 2 here, and there. Oh, 4, or there's 4 Z motors. Is there 4? Oh no, those are the Core XY. Those are beefy looking motors for the Core XY, for the upper and lower, and it's got 3. So there's a Z screw there. So there's three Z screws, just the same as the P1P. So yeah, no, you wouldn't get those speeds with wheels. Definitely not. Yeah. So this is going to be really interesting to see. And again, it's running on a clip. I don't know if it's Clipper or Clipper-like or Clipper-ish, but it's running on a Clipper type of base software. Ceramic heater, so they've totally gone to different hot ends than they're used to. So we have the ceramic heater, direct drive, dual gear. So it'll be interesting to see what changes here. Dual cooling directly on the nozzle. So apparently it doesn't look like, it looks like it comes more from the top than the sides as well for the cooling. So it looks like they've really changed the way the cooling is going to work. Oh, and if you notice, they also have over here a chamber cooling fan, again, similar to the P1P and the Bamboo, a big fan to keep up with the cooling when you're going at those high speeds, right? So and that's a big if this thing performs like they say, it's giving Bamboo a run for their money. Because why would you then look, if I don't know how much the LiDAR is going to cost, but why would you then look at an X1 Carbon if you can spend this money plus whatever a LiDAR costs to get this printer? So it's, yeah. I'm looking forward to the influencer videos as well, Friendship Lights. I've not heard of any of them that have them. Creality did this big teaser a month ago or so saying, if you want to get one of these for review, answer all these questions. It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen, and I'm sorry. But, oh, is it silent? I don't know. They don't talk about that. It's got to be. I mean, they have to have silent steppers in it. It can't be any louder than the Bamboos, let's put it that way. But they had this stupid thing where I don't know, you've all seen it, right? Where they had these questions. One of the questions was, what would you pay for this? What would you expect to pay for this? What kind of a dumb question is that when you don't know what features come on it? Like, you know, it's okay, I'll pay $100 for it. I don't know. You're not telling me what's going to be coming on it. So why are you asking me what I would expect to pay for it? I mean, come on. Anyways, K1 Max is $1,000 with the LiDAR and the camera. And it's a bigger build volume too. So I wonder, obviously the LiDAR and camera are options on the K1, but there's nothing that I've seen. Actually, I didn't really look in the actual store to see if there was, under the accessories, if they were listing those yet. I honestly didn't look. New release. Oh, Creality laser module. No. sonic pad, water cooling heat dissipation kit, 3D pad mini, spool holder. No, it doesn't look like they're listing the LiDAR or the camera for the K1 yet as an accessory that I can see. So I'll be interested to see what they do charge for the LiDAR and the camera. But obviously they have made the K1 made it so that you can add those items on. Otherwise they wouldn't list them as optional accessories. So yeah, look at that. And they're having major sales on all the rest of their printers now, so they're dumping their inventory. Yep, there's a Max. I don't see the Max on the site, but they did talk about the Max on their news conference today, or whatever you want to call that. So if you go to their flagships, yeah, right now they're just showing the K1 pre-sale, and they are saying that so they've obviously got some built already, because they're saying estimated delivery May 9th to May 14th. That's less than a month. So yeah, less than a month. So they've obviously got some delivered. They'll be shipped after April 25th. So they're obviously waiting to get a whole bunch of orders in. These things have got to be built and ready to go to give that fast a delivery timeline. So yeah, we shall see. It's on the site. Oh, I didn't see the Max on the site. I didn't see it. All I'm seeing is the maybe I'm on a different site. I'm on the store.creality.com/CA. I'm on the Canadian store. So maybe if I get off the Canadian store, maybe they're just not available in Canada yet. Let's see what they say here. Oh yeah, it looks like yeah, $5.99 US. I don't see the Max though. Oh, sold out already in the US. So you can't buy it in the US now. It's sold out. It looks like you can still get it in Canada. But I don't see the Max listed, but then I could be looking in the wrong spot. So that's fine. Anyhow, yeah, no, that's quite interesting. The working MMU for it. Well, you wait. They're going to come up with something like the AMS. I guarantee it. 1.5 meter by 1. Why would you want that? Where would you put it, and how often would you use it? 1,000 watts. Wow. Max is 300 by 300 by 300. That's decent. So 220 to 300. 220 is pretty, I mean, depending on what you're doing, right, and what you want to do with them. So this is looking good. The ASA brown is looking great on the bamboo so far. And my print on the looks like my, oh yeah, okay. It looks like my Voron crashed on me. I got an error, say extrude below minimum temperature. I had a temperature drop in my, I probably didn't get my thermistor hooked up properly back when I hooked my thermistor back up on this. Oh well, we'll do this another day. But let's see what I did print. Yeah, I had a temperature drop on my hot end on the on this, but I was having the same issue anyway. So yeah, turning at 90 degrees. So again, cooling issue right there. Look at that on that side, and on this side a little bit more, but not nearly as much. So yeah, so we have some sort of a cooling issue going on the Voron there. So maybe I'll just end up having to print this on the bamboo. Oh man. Anyways, so we're gonna just shut that one down for now. Worry about that later. There's always something to do, which is fine. Yeah, I think I probably either I might have loosened one of my hot end wires when I took that apart and put it back together. It's very, very possible that I did that. Anyways, that's okay. In the meantime, there's what we're getting on the bamboo for those parts in the brown ASA. They're sticking fine, no warping yet. Get your two-color thing going on. Yeah, actually, I think that's what I'll do. I think that's what I'll do. I just got to figure out what's going on with this. I haven't had any problems with anything else. The funny thing, it's just this one part. This part printed fine. Like, this part is fine. Same settings, same everything. So I don't understand why. I can't understand why a file, why an STL would give me issues with cooling. But I just, and it's pretty much, okay, maybe it's a little steeper overhang. No, it's not. It's the same angle overhang as these ones are. It's one of those things where you just scratch your head and go, I don't get it. And you move on. And you move on. Okay, are you printing ABS on the textured plate? Yes, I am. It was on the textured plate. There's the textured plate there. That's the one that printed nicely for the EVA. The one I'll just use this cover for the EVA if I have to, but printed nicely on the textured plate. And if you look at these ones with the overhangs, which are not major, like right there, they look great. But on this, I mean, this is just utter crap. So I don't know what's going on. This even printed fine, standing up this way. So and we have overhangs under here, and everything. These printed fine. It's this one piece. It's just I'm not meant to use this piece for my EVA. Try another slicer. That's true too. Yeah, I could try another slicer. This is Prusa slicer. Huh. Anyways, not a big deal. We're almost at the end of my show, 9:28. As I say, this thing here is printing really well right now. So that's it's not as cold down here as it was, which is why this may be printing really good right now, because the ambient temperature down here is much better than it was last week. So these things have another 16 minutes to go and they'll be done. And what we'll do is we'll continue on with this build, and hopefully it doesn't take as long as I hope it's not going to take for my parts to come in from China and stuff. So, and we can continue doing on the build. But if worst comes to worse, what I'll do, oops, hit the right button here. What I'll do next week on this one, if worst comes to worse, we'll start on the electronics. I can always get the back because we're going to be running some you know, that rail shit, that rail stuff. I'm having a brain fart here. God, what's that? What's those rails called? Anyways, whatever. Are you using any fan at all? 40%. 40% on this. And I used 40% on this. There's that. That's a good look at that piece. That piece printed beautiful. Okay, 40% fan. Look at that. I mean, you can't complain about this piece at all. Okay. There's a couple little complaints about this piece, but this piece turned out really good. That's the fan shroud, the fan duct. Okay. Same fan. Same amount of fan on that. Look at that. I'm kind of glad the piece didn't finish. It just saved me some filament. So, yeah, it isn't DIN rails. Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, DIN rails. So we're going to be putting some DIN rails on. We can work with that, get that stuff going. So, anyways, as I switch to this camera and switch over to this, my goodbye camera. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I do appreciate it. We're going to call it tonight. Next week, we'll be back at our standard time. Tonight was just a little later stream because of the Easter weekend, and we had a dinner to do too. So, add more parts with it to make layer times longer. Good idea. The first one, I will say, the first one did print with these on there. So there was actually 3 parts on there with it. So we'll see. Okay. Anyways, again, thank you everybody for hanging out. David, thank you so much. I'm going to read over that. I'm going to get on printables. These parts will be printed. Hopefully I have everything done by the time we're ready to go. Just waiting for those parts to come in from China on a slow boat from China, and we'll be all set to start building and building and building. But so far I'm happy with what I'm doing and the way it's going. So I will see everybody. I just have to get this one here and get my banner ready to go, my goodbye banner. But anyways, thank you everybody for watching. I really appreciate you all. We'll catch you during the week, and we'll catch you next Sunday at our regular time. Have a safe week, everybody. Happy printing, and we'll take care soon. And keep an eye out for those new Creality K1 reviews. Hopefully some of the influencers are going to have that printer sooner than later before the general public does. We'll see. Anyways, I'm out of here. Talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Bye for now.